There ain't nothing wrong with the front row.
This is like church. You never sit down.
Everybody up front, move forward. It's the old Driscoll time, move forward.
Back.
Tell you what we're gonna do is we're gonna move chairs. Put them in the bag. Can't move now. No, sir.
Water down somewhere. Are you good, Gerard?
No, I'm the Koopa. Good demoted at the grand party. Well, welcome everybody to our fourth annual members only show. And with that, I'll turn it over to Pat.
Hi guys. Thank you. We had 85 actual pieces of work entered this year, which is really great. How many total do you think people we had?
20-something.
20-something.
We have 33 or 4 actual members and say 23 or 24 participating.
Yes.
That's very good. Percentage-wise.
And this year is really kind of unique. We have one of the preeminent artists in the United States as our juror. I'm going to. Leslie Adams is probably one of the finest portrait artists in North America. And I say that, and I've got several people like in Australia and some other like here. And she's, it's hard to find somebody as talented as she is. If you've been down to the Museum of Art, you've seen her work hanging there. She had her own show there. So I actually discovered her walking around. Wow, where's this been? You know, it's just been amazing. If you get a chance to see her work, it's just amazing. She went to the New York Academy of Art, graduated from there, but she's been painting her entire life. Starting out as a little girl painting those things you see in the back of the comic books. Winky. Winky in the back of the comic book. And that's actually one of her pieces of work, her doppelganger, she calls it, as a painting of herself painting, Winky. And she has won many awards. Last year you won the Art Renewal Center's International 2012 Art Salon Award. And she was just Rizzoli just published a book. Just came out, isn't it? Just last week. I saw it. And she's in that book, and probably preeminent artist in the United States. She's now going to be going to the Butler Institute of American Art and having a one-woman show there in 2016. It's worth the trip to the Youngstown area to go see that, because trust me, if you've seen her work, you're going to say, one person does this, and she's amazing. And we're very honored to have her with us. So I'd like to introduce Leslie Adams.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you so much. So, are we going to do
Go
should I
ahead.
talk first?
Go ahead.
So, thank you all for inviting me to come here and jury your show. And I realized why I rarely jury shows. It is hard. It is really hard. I want to tell you a little story. A lot of you know Ken Thompson from Blissfield. I was just sharing this story. And I had the honor of painting his wife, Mary Thompson. And this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I painted Mary Thompson. And we have the Toledo Area Artist Show down at the Toledo Museum of Art. And Ken really wanted me to enter the portrait of Mary in the Toledo Area Artist Show. And so I did. And so I entered it, and it was rejected. So I entered it again the next year, and it was rejected again. So I entered it the next year, because Ken really wanted it hanging in the museum, and it was rejected. So the rules in the Toledo Area Artist Show at the time were that you could only enter things that were 4 years or newer. I had one last chance. And I entered Mary Thompson's portrait, and it got first place. What is the moral of the story? You just gotta find the right judge. It's true. You have to find, you have to believe in your piece and believe in your painting. And I did. I believed in my portrait of Mary Thompson, and I thought, I'm just going to keep trying. And I got lucky with the last judge, thank God. So it's, jurying is so subjective. And it's, if I were to jury the show tomorrow or next week, it might be a different attitude, or outcome. If I were to jury, if you entered the show and it's a different set of, what is next to it. I know in the Portrait Society of America, when you enter that exhibition, say you enter a portrait of a bishop, and that year, no other portraits of bishops were entered. You might have a better chance, but say there are, 4 people enter portraits of bishops, and they'll pick the best bishop, and so it's always about what the competition is and what your work is sitting next to. So all of these things are important. And this was really difficult too, because there were works that were in different categories, and we really wrestled with the categories and we moved around a couple of things, and then there were categories that had very few entries, and so I know that in Toledo we have a lot of entries in glass because we're considered the glass capital. We have a lot of entries in photography, but here, not too many photographs, so it all just depends. But what I look for is that kind of combination, the combination of technique, subject matter, and what the story is behind the piece, or what else is there? There's the technique, the presentation is very important. There were some very good works, I will honestly say, that were beautiful, but maybe not presented so well. And so the mats might have been a little messy, or the framing might have been a little messy, and I take all of that into account when I'm jurying something. So if your work isn't receiving an award, look at it and think maybe it might be the presentation of it. And so the other things are, what else was I going to say? I had another thought that I wanted to share. No, I think that was it. So, so should we give the awards, and then does anybody have any questions, or we can wait until the awards?
We didn't bring an easel to set them on. You want to set them on a chair or something? Just gonna
I'll
hold them?
hold them.
So do you want me to say this? Because I don't know who anybody is.
Okay. Jeff Elberger. Jeff? Go ahead.
Cameraman,
The cameraman is-
how appropriate.
Thank you.
Quick, no. You want to say anything?
So, why don't I say at the end?
Sure.
Why don't I say at the end of each category? Can you do that? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do with these?
Hang it up with the award.
Why don't you turn some chairs around?
We ain't got enough chairs.
No, only 3. Do each category. First, second, third, each category.
Barb Lay?
Barb's not here.
Barb's not here.
She's over St. Mary's.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah. Oh, St. Mary's.
Yes, I do.
She's at St. Mary's too.
And Paul, this is Paul Schmidt,
First place.
first place, shoe tree.
Yes, they're shoes, so you'll see them closely.
They are shoes. Where in the world? And why?
We combined the 2 categories
Well,
of
this-
photography
We
and
had photography and digital photography,
digital
and we
photography.
combined it because we didn't have any numbers. So in order to combine it, we had soft photography, so we put it all together.
So when I jury an exhibition, sometimes things stand out as just, when you jury an exhibition, you want to be surprised, maybe. And That surprised me. I don't know if this was digitally manipulated. I don't know if he strung a million shoes.
There's a tree somewhere going up north, a friend of mine told me, and it's called the shoe tree, and people go by and throw their shoes up in it.
Well,
And I bet there's a picture of it.
I bet it is. I bet it is. So
Paul told me about
it's a
it.
lovely picture, and it's, you know, compositionally, I wouldn't do it any other way. It has a beautiful, range of tones with the, you know, with the lights and the darks, and then that nice flash of green underneath is, I was very taken with the portrait of the show.
Use that or just use the chair?
And, we could put that on. It would work, probably wouldn't work.
Oh, if you put it on the table, I can't.
So,
Put them right on the wall and just use the same 3 chairs for each category.
we could do that. So again, the presentation is very important, and I like the fact that some of these, and we'll see later, are very well presented, very nice crisp mats, and I actually tend to like mats that are for an exhibition when you're going to be hanging around a lot of different works to just keep it simple. This actually isn't my preference, colored mat, but the photograph surpassed that my bias toward colored mats. But I like the 3 of them as a unit, and I like the 3. I like the composition of this one a lot. I like the presentation of it. Not everything has to be matted and framed. But I think this is a very strong composition. In again, the value range is very strong. And so those 3 are my choices. So, should we go ahead and hand these out?
Good job, though. He's gotta give back the ribbon.
Oh. Jeff has to give back the ring.
Yeah, he has to give back the ribbon, to hang with the picture.
He's got it over there.
You gotta give up the ribbon, though.
Would you give it to me?
Just for the show, just for the camera. Oh, boy.
Boy,
Pat, you can change that back leg.
That's right. No, you can't.
Isn't it adjustable on the back leg?
No.
No?
Let's try this one. Okay, next.
so. Oh, we do these.
See if he wants that one instead.
Oh, you know what, I think we did it. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This is,
Is it King Albert?
Julie Calarelli?
Julie?
Julie, congratulations.
This is mixed media?
Mixed media, yeah. Savage mixed media.
Stand up here by your picture so you can say cheese.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to do this with the photographs too. All right, and then, well, we'll keep,
You
so,
gotta give the ribbon to.
What, keep that up there?
might as well.
Okay.
So, you know, again, this was a difficult category
You do
because,
it at the end of the show.
Oh.
yes.
I put a number back.
So this was a difficult category again because we didn't have the numbers of entrants for the 2 that we combined, the mixed media and the fibers. There just weren't a lot of entries in those categories. And so, so we felt the importance to, I felt the need to combine them. I am not a fibers person. I can't sew a button on very well. And so what I look for is the quality and the technical aspect of it, the design of the work, because if we were to, for example, take a photograph of this, turn it into a black and white image, and just look at that as a design quality, I think it has a wonderful design quality. And then I look at the technical parts of it, the way the thread is sewn, and the application of all of the little individual elements caught my eye. The presentation of it was quite lovely. I like how things go off of the picture plane outside of the frame, and I like the colors. I think the colors all go very, very nicely together, and so I like the combination of the textures all together. So all of those things that just make up a piece, any piece, it could be a portrait or something else, but those combinations of solid areas, places to rest your eye, texture, color, light, nice colors of lights and nice use of the negative space, all attracted me to this piece. And now we have this system.
Yes. Do that one. Thank you. And second is Jan Van Houten. Fishy abstract. She must be at there.
Oh.
She's making money.
Oh, she's making money here, right?
Absolutely.
So this is crayon, right?
Yes, it's a melted
Melted
paint.
crayon and acrylic. Watercolor, I forget.
This one.
You can look that up.
Yeah, melted crayon and acrylic.
And acrylic, and it was just fun, to me it was just fun, and it was a little more on the abstract side. Now, as a realist painter, I am so cognizant of not just focusing on the realistic kind of things that come in. And so, I've always found that the people that, if I've entered shows, especially in Toledo, if we have a realist juror who is a realist painter, I rarely get in. People are naturally harder, I think, judges are naturally harder on their own medium. And so I find it very important to really focus on things that aren't necessarily what I do. And I found this piece very lovely. I like the composition of it, I like the texture of it, again, things that I just said about the fabric piece. And then it just has this fish just coming out of nowhere. So it was very, very exciting for me to see this piece presented very nicely, and the colors I think are beautiful as well. My hair got stuck in it. You can really tell I was very close to the word.
This is Lucy Ingalls. It's called Read.
So again, we combined the two categories. This is a more of a mixed media piece. The presentation is stunning. The three-dimensional quality of it, perfect. And the message is really great. The message, the technique, and the presentation all really work well together in this piece. Down to the label in the front, which you can all read later. But I felt that in this category, it also has that kind of feel of fiber too. So I really wasn't even sure what even category it was. It kind of crosses over so many of these different ones, but the composition and those basic elements of art are all there, including the book, which it's symmetrical, yes, but up here then it kind of goes crazy. So I think that balancing of everything worked well for me in this piece, which is why I got first place. And I like this particularly. It's a little pendant. I don't know what you call that, but is that what it is? I don't know. But I like it.
Okay, next up, graphics and pastel. Larry Hilliard is here. Just walked in. Come on up.
Timing, Larry. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Very nice. So, congratulations, by the way. So this piece, again, you missed what I was saying earlier about presentation, but this is a lovely presentation that everyone should make note of because it's just especially for entering shows. You know, if you purchase a piece and it goes into your home, then maybe you could change things if you like the color. I just love a crisp white mat and a black, kind of more museum style frame. But the composition is lovely. The technique is so well done. The subtleness of the subtle quality of the handling, the medium, and then the strong composition. Wherever you divide this picture, it works. And so that's why I felt, you know, the recession of the space is very well done. Actually, you have another piece in the show, which, you know, I was toss up between those two pieces. So I chose this one, but the other piece could have easily been chosen as well. So, and it's very subtle. And then you've got these, you know, this broad, more powerful, you know, little strip of land coming in. So I really like this piece too.
I'm sorry. You gotta give that back before you leave.
We did.
But then you can get it when you come back. Oh. Who is this? This is Mom?
Paul meets really
Can you see it? Can you all see that?
Laura, Mark, daydreaming.
Is that right here?
Laura, wait a
Laura!
And Laura, wait a minute.
Oh, no. Thank you. Our comment
What's the year? Yeah. I'll take that too.
So again, there were a couple of, you'll see another one of Laura's portraits, both beautiful, but the way that the charcoal is handled in here, very delicate, very delicate strokes combined with the darker, more powerful, more aggressive ones. And I think those look like.
Could you hold that up?
Oh,
'Cause
sure.
We're seeing a big glare on them.
Oh, okay. Right, so you see all of these beautiful, subtle range of tones in here, and then you see the powerful, dark charcoals in here. And then the delicateness on the skin is very, very, very lovely. And the expression on the face, so we haven't, I think this is the first portrait, but,
This is her Google.
Pastel?
That's not
I thought she has oil.
That's that too.
Oh, she does.
chemical development.
Oh, that's really good. Artiste.
Okay. And profiles are always just so lovely too. I really like the profile on that with just that little bit of tilt.
And there you
It's
go.
very tricky.
How'd you pronounce that?
Good. Oh, you don't win. Can't say the name. What up here? I made Gary.
Which one?
Editors. Yes.
You're not the only one. If it would have been just you, it wouldn't have worked. But there were 3 people telling me to go get that
So
thing
your
framed.
opinion didn't count.
Yeah, that's completely.
We want to share the prize.
Just get this in a picture too.
Oh, glare.
Art is there.
I like that.
Don't you? You want this back?
So, I'll hold this up as well.
Look at that. Took a picture of himself, so he took a selfie.
So I heard the story behind this. I feel like Vanna White. No, not Vanna White. Who's the, not
Wait.
Yeah, it is Vanna White.
It's Wheel of Fortune, yeah.
Or do you mean,
No, I'm
Let's
just-
Make a Deal or Price is Right?
Price is Right.
There you go.
How much is this being sold for? Or can lovely piece. It's again, it's surprising, and not that it does not look like this. I saw this gentleman, and not that it doesn't look like him, but it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter that it's a self-portrait. It's just a fun, really cool, really kind of modern, even though it's just charcoal on paper, it's just kind of a really fun, modern piece. The expression is crazy good. And the light is here. The expression is fun. And the light, the way the hand, basic drawing techniques that I've mentioned already are all there. The subtlety and the powerful lines and all of that. I'm repeating myself, but they're all evident in this painting. The texture of the skin and the flesh and the charcoal on the beard and all of those things. It's really quite fun. I like the extra space up here, and that I think makes it kind of a little more modern. To kind of leave that, there's all this space, and then he's looking slightly down a little bit. So it's fun the way the.
I like that.
And then the way it just kind of falls off into this texture and crazy line work of the clothing, I think is very very powerful. So I think you should keep doing some more, and I'm glad they talked you into entering.
He's got more things. Okay, next is watercolor. Judy Pillarelli.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for giving in. You should listen to Patrick all the time.
All right.
Oh, so what I have to say about this person is that we need to encourage Julie to paint more, because this is an older piece, and we would like to congratulate you and say you need to paint more often.
Well, I do. I still do.
Oh, good. So this is lovely, and and a lot of people do portraits of flowers and images of flowers. This is quite well done. Again, the subtlety, and then this beautiful green background is quite strong. I like it offset with the, I don't know what things are called, but lily pad things. I like the composition of this, and I think the presentation is quite clean, and so that got my vote. And I am horrible at watercolor, so I appreciate watercolor all the time. You can't make mistakes. You have to be able to make